So, we just got one of the most hypocritical things out of Chicago the other day. And if you were unaware, Chicago has pretty much the strictest gun control in the nation. They passed an assault weapons ban, and none of the civilians cared because they got like 1% of them to register their assault weapons. And something really interesting happened the other day. There was a woman who was getting robbed, and she called 911, and the cops told her that no one is coming and that she should find a weapon. Let me repeat that for the governor of Illinois. The cops told her no one is coming and for her to grab a weapon. You know what my response would have been if they said that? Well, why don't you tell your governor to pull his head out of your ass and stop making it so hard to own a gun? I wonder what their response would have been. Oh, well, you're not a part of the government, so you don't get that right. Yeah, shove it.
She called 911, but then she says it took hours for cops to finally show up. NBC5's Regina Waldrop talked to the woman and has reaction from police and the alderman.
And they're moseying real casually down the gangway along.
Her surveillance cameras caught all the action. The homeowner, Michelle, doesn't want us to show her face because police are still looking for the burglars who invaded her home.
The would-be thieves climbed over this 6-foot-tall fence and then made their way to the garage where they tried to get in.
It happened Tuesday just after 12:30 in Wicker Park, and Michelle happened to be inside at the time.
And I was able to look down from my kitchen level into my entry level, and I saw two men wearing masks standing inside my house. And I screamed, I'm calling the police, and they bolted.
Michelle says she and a neighbor chased them down the street. Then she says she called 911.
They told me dispatch was on the way and to wait outside.
She says she waited and waited and called and called.
Criminal trespass in progress.
But no police.
An hour and a half goes by. I called a sixth time.
So obviously the police not getting there within a decent time period is a problem. And my answer is very simple to situations like this. And it's very logical. Let me ask you, if you own a business and you have deadlines for your employees, and every single time they miss the deadline, what are you doing? You're either firing them and getting someone who can do the job, or you're doing it yourself because it has to get done. Same thing with police. If your police department can't get to a call in a certain amount of time, dude, make them all medical people. Tell the entire city your safety is on you. We're not coming. If you're having a heart attack, we'll come. If you're having a health problem, we'll come. Otherwise, if you're getting robbed, you better know how to use an AR, a shotgun, or a pistol and get it done. Folks, y'all know that I love to work with the best of the best in terms of companies that I promote to you. And a longtime sponsor of the channel, Blackout Coffee, they just released their premium instant coffee, and I gotta tell you, this stuff, it's amazing. Morning Reaper as well, big recommendation. And they've also got their investment campaign going on, so you can become a part owner of your favorite coffee. All the details are gonna be linked below the video, but as always, we're giving you 10% off. Go stock up, and if you're like me, grab a 5-pound bag. It's cost efficient, and for me, can't have enough of Blackout Coffee.
Michelle says more than 4 hours later, officers arrived.
The officers were extremely apologetic, obviously overwhelmed.
Adding more frustration to the day, she says an officer tried to get an evidence tech out, but was denied. Chicago police told us the delay in getting officers to Michelle's home may have something to do with the priority list for routine dispatch calls for 911. The Guide for Radio Communications shows if there's no immediate threat to life, it may be considered a lesser priority for dispatchers.
What could have happened in between? Obviously it didn't. Thank goodness no harm came to me.
In a statement, Alderman Daniel Espada told us he's in contact with 12th District Police leadership and is working with the city on a proposed satellite location in Westtown. Michelle says she's called the alderman's office and is waiting to meet with him. She also wants to make it clear that she's not blaming the police department for having to wait so long.
People legitimately still think, oh, if I'm in trouble, if my safety is a concern, I can just call the police. They aren't coming in time. I don't care where you are. I don't even care if you're in a small town. If you're actively getting robbed, it's usually pretty quick. They're not hanging around for the cops to come. So if you're one of those people who's like, oh no, I can call the cops. I'm calling the cops. Please pull your head out of it. Arm yourself. We don't need more police. We need more citizens who are willing to take on the responsibility of their own safety. Why rely on somebody else? Somebody explain that to me. I think the most interesting part of this, though, is how they said they're not going to get there in time. I recommend you find a weapon. So what you've done here is you have completely dismantled the governor's thought process on gun control. The governor thinks that he's going to control criminals by making more serious gun control, but criminals don't care about your gun laws. And then you're leaving citizens who aren't willing to risk breaking the law by going out and getting a gun and not following gun control. You're putting them at risk. Exhibit A. What if this woman was killed? What would you say? What would the governor say? It's okay because gun control's good. Or would you say, well, maybe we addressed the wrong thing. Maybe we need to empower our citizens. And I don't believe any citizen needs to ask our government for permission, but for the people who have too much to lose to risk it, those are the people that they need to empower. I mean, listen to the governor.
Hello, Illinois. This is Governor J.B. Pritzker. Here we are at the end of another year. Despite all the challenges facing the nation and the world these days, thanks to your help, we've gotten big things done right here in the best state in America. We defeated the gun lobby and banned assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
We banned assault weapons, folks. All right, let me get this right. You ban assault weapons, you make everybody register them. To get a gun there, you pretty much have to give them your left nut or the birthright to your first son. And then on top of it, your police departments tell people, yeah, we're not coming, or we'll see you in 4 hours. How does that make sense? How do you expect people to feel confident in living in your city? I imagine some of y'all have been in what seems like a life or death situation. I haven't as an adult, but I have been as a teenager. Let me tell you that having a gun on your person, it makes you polite. It makes you level-headed. And it also gives you a big pair. Oh, you're robbing my house? You know I got a gun, right? Okay, bye. Don't come back. Next time it's gonna go different. I mean, can you imagine seeing on your cameras a couple of dudes robbing your house and you sitting there saying, well, I would like to be able to have a gun, but my city makes it too hard, so I just don't bother. I mean, what do? Sit there and pray? You know what God's telling you? Next time, defend the gift of life that I gave you with a little more assertiveness.